Recruiter here, the headless headhunter, getting you ahead of your job search by reviewing your resumes. The resume we have up first is a full stack developer. They said they are not getting like any interviews. They are, let's see, they make changes to applications in about 90% of them. Which is actually bad. That's actually probably why you're not having a lot of luck, is you're changing your application you're changing your resume for every application. That is actually a way to get less interviews, not more, which I will go over in a minute. Let's see, is there anything else there? They've done stealth startups, but they feel like the idea in an HR's head is it hasn't released despite them being released. And you can't give their names now because of the NDA I signed. Can you please suggest a way to express this in the CV somehow? Yeah, actually, so, like, people say, like, oh, you need to put an NDA and stuff. You can write stuff with it. Like, you can't say anything specific, but you can do stuff like saying, you know, created a 12 billion lines of code in Java, Python, and Oktoberfest, which allowed us to do X and Y. So it being specifically under NDA is not really a problem. I've seen plenty of resumes with NDA. You just have to write it like you would a normal resume, actually. It's actually almost easier because you have to write it like you should write a normal resume. You also said about adding an unreadable white text at the footer that says skip AI scans. That won't work because there's not AI scans unless you're specifically applying to an AI company, in which case then there probably will be AI scans. People assume there's like all these AI scans and stuff, but there's not. I do a series called Meet or Yeet where I decide in 20 seconds if you can meet the hiring manager, and that is actually what recruiters do. It's a little dramatized because I have to enunciate what I'm thinking, but basically, if I can't find what I need in 15 seconds, which is this stuff, I can't move you forward, and I will go to the next resume. It's not AI, it's a human. It's a human that probably doesn't know your industry, that is overworked and has way less time and under-budgeted and understaffed, but it is a human. So the AI is not your problem, a human is. And with this, your biggest issue is this reads like nothing to an actual human. I am a tech recruiter. I have placed people at at companies. I've worked with startups. I've worked with Fortune 500 companies in tech. I have taught other recruiters how to recruit in tech, and they have increased the number and quality of hires. I could not find almost anything I needed with this. So the first problem here is I don't know if you're actually looking for full stack. I couldn't find a Go developer job. I just couldn't. I could not find it. So what I saw in the rest of this was basically nothing. So your biggest problem is this is almost entirely blank. I went through this entire page and I saw nothing, right? Like the formatting, yeah, it could be improved. Like you don't want to bold anything here. You don't want to bold anything down here. And your education should be up at the top. But a bigger issue is this resume is blank. Because when I'm looking for a tech resume, I'm not looking for delivered batches in 5 to 10 seconds, or automated 5 previously manual student workflows, or Yawk, Waz, and Scopus, whatever that is. I've literally never heard those in my life. Manage the backend system for 3 outsourced projects. That part is okay. This is, in fact, your only good sentence right here. So your problem is not AI declining you. It's that your resume is basically blank. I don't care that you had a control that handled 2,000 concurrent requests with an average latency of under 200 milliseconds, or 99% data transmission. If I am looking for a backend developer, most likely I'm looking for a Python dev, which is hotter right now, I think, than Java, a Java dev, or potentially a .NET dev. Maybe I got this wrong and there is specifically a Go dev, but I couldn't find it. And when I'm looking for those, it's going to look like this. This is full stack, but as an example, if I am looking for a Python dev, let me pull this up. Assuming you are in the US, as where you are in the world does in fact change these qualifications, because different countries have different types of qualifications. This would be what I want for a Python dev. In fact, I am, at the time of this video, have been recruiting for a Python dev, and the amount of Python devs that don't put Python in their resume is shocking. They don't put what I'm actually looking for, which is close to this. So I don't see what you did that is qualified, right? You tried to convince me. You tried to show up in front of my desk and say, hey, Lee, I am the best person ever. Here is my brags. Here is what I'm great at. And I don't want that. I don't care about that. I couldn't understand those if I tried. Again, you're talking to a person who has successfully increased the number of hires for tech. I have taught other recruiters. I am not the best tech recruiter ever, but I am definitely by every metric above average at a minimum at tech recruiting. And I could not find almost anything I needed here except for Node.js. So I need you to be very specific. Look at the roles that you are applying to. And I want to go back to the other point of this is why customizing your resume doesn't work for each and every job. There is no magical AI scanner. Yes, some AI companies have it. Yes, some features can have, some ATSs can add that, but the vast majority of them, like 98, 99%, don't. They don't have those, and if they even do have them, the recruiters don't use it. Most of the time, it's by hand. But how ATSs do sort resumes is first come, first serve. So by the time you have fully fixed this resume, you were probably too far behind, especially if it's a remote role, that they found who they needed before they got to you. So first off, you need to apply early. The faster you apply, the better. Not how long it's been open, but how many other people have applied. Some jobs are there for 3 weeks and only have 20 people apply. Go for it. Some jobs fill up in the first 20 minutes. You not even worth bothering. So what you do instead, and this is what I suggest to everybody, this is one of my massive tricks, is look at 10 to 15 jobs of the same type that you are qualified for. Go down and look in the qualification section, not the responsibility section. You can ignore the responsibility section. Nothing there is what we care about. Go to the qualification section. Look at 15 jobs, maybe 16 or so, that have solid qualification sections that you meet at least 75% of. Then make an aggregate list of those. Those are going to be these. And you should be able to do it better than me once you learn how to do it. And those are what we're looking for. Use those to make a giant resume that is tailored towards that specific job title. Once it's tailored to that job title, mass apply as much as you can to that specific job title. That is how you get a job. That is one of the bigger tips I can ever give anybody. So, yeah, formatting, like I said, is not great, but a bigger issue is this is nothing. We don't want to see 200 plus concurrent with an average latency. You want to know what's actually accurate? Almost every single resume looks like this. This is a slightly better formatted version than every other resume I have seen. It's not the best formatting. The best formatting is you want to use this one, which is on my website. This is how you do it. But this is it. This is why you don't get picked, is because this is the same as everybody else's and it has absolutely nothing we need. So that's all I can do for this one. Before we go to the next one, if anybody needs more help, they can join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST on twitch.tv/headlesshedhunter. That is where I go over these qualifications, how to find them. I go into more in-depth stuff than I can through a YouTube video, and I can help you all out, and you can see pictures of my dog. And please like, comment, and subscribe, and let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a creative project manager, which, honestly, as far as I could tell, was the same as a project manager. Some of them required like Adobe and WordPress instead of a normal manager, but otherwise it's basically the same as a project manager. So what we're looking for in a creative project manager, which actually I did not see a lot of PMP CSMs, so that might also be a difference, is details about how and why you did X. So as a project manager, one of your duties is to make sure the project runs smoothly. But I don't really care what you did. I care about how you made the process run smooth. And throughout all of these, it's basically like, I don't care that you did X. I care that you influenced stakeholders so that it was easy. That you predicted problems in the future and were able to overcome them. That you give me details about how you did what you did and why you did what you did, more so than what you did itself. I also need to know just like the number of team members. Was it cross-functional or matrix? Did you interact with stakeholders? Was it agile? And then the industry, which again has different qualifications for each industry, so I can't really get into all of those. And that you've used like Jira, Confluence, MS Project, WordPress, Google, or Microsoft Office suites. So I assume that you just edited out your information, and that is why there's this red bar there. So that is okay. But let's see if I can find it in 20 seconds before reading what you stated. So away we go. Okay, can't use anything there. Directed execution of digital platforms, that's actually solid. Well, okay. Well, that's why not 100%? Why'd you delay stuff? Asana could be one. That one's okay. Cycle review cycles, cutting in turnaround times. That's not really what I'm looking for. Yeah, okay. I don't know if I actually hit the stopwatch or not for that one, but we would have ran out of time. I see MS Office and Word Excel here, which is good, but this has like nothing I need. So let me now read what they wrote, because I try to do the 20 seconds before I read what you write, because I feel like that's more accurate to what it's actually going to be. So you were a person that worked on reality TV shows up until the past year. Yeah, that industry has been decimated. I'm leaning more on the agency side. Digital project manager, brand management, creative operations, studio operations. So if this is specifically like, I live in LA, but I don't know the LA film industry. I want to be very clear. That is an entirely different beast than what I do day to day. But if this is corporate, you're not showing the correct qualifications. So first off, this should be deleted, because I do not need it. Second off, your formatting is mostly correct. This should not be bolded. This and this should not be bolded and should be on one line but italicized. And that's it. That's okay. Again, but it's not a, your issue is not really a formatting issue. It is a bullet point issue, because directing the execution of multiple digital campaigns is okay. By drafting detailed project documents, I'm not looking for project documents, timelines, scopes, and internal procedures. I mean, I guess, and collaborate. Also, why do you have this line here? Is this ChatGPT? I don't know if it is or not. I just know that that's like a sign. And collaborating with creative and legal strategy teams to achieve a 95% on-time delivery rate. Cool. That tells me nothing. You know what I would have liked you to say instead? Maintained 17 projects across multiple digital platforms cross-functionally. Let's see, while achieving above average, like, deadline meeting, right? Like, that would have been better. This is kind of a bunch of word salad. Developed and utilized tracking dashboards. I don't care that you developed and utilized them. I care that you, like, it's okay to have this, but you're not telling me what you did. What were your projects? What was your budget? I need to know how many team members were a part of it. Here, this is okay. Coordinated production logistics for 12 branded content shoots. Good. By managing schedules. Okay, that's actually pretty solid. Samples and shot lists. I don't know what that is or why that's relevant, which reduced reshoot costs by 30%. Not everything needs a percentage. The problem with this is it's so broad. I don't really know what you do. Like, that's why I think it might be AI. Mainly that, and there's this, which may or may not be AI. It's so broad. I need to know specifics. I need to know how many other campaigns. Was this entire thing about 12 branded content shoots? I don't know. Estimated or ensured 98% on-time campaign launches. Okay, by managing creative intakes. What's creative intakes? Drafting project documents. Why was that important? Okay, there we go. To define timelines and aligning workflows. But that's still so... I don't have enough information. I feel like you're alluding to what you did. I want you to just stand up and say with your chest, I had X projects. There were 35 people on each of those projects. I met with stakeholders weekly to update them on deliveries and had an above average deadline, right? Met all important deadlines, right? I want to know how you prevented problems. Like, stakeholders were confused and taking a long time making business decisions, so I created an Asana, whatever you said, dashboard, which allowed them to give feedback faster, increasing the speed that we completed our project. How much? I still don't know how much money it was. Like, was with a budget of 20 million, 2 million? I don't know. I also don't see that you used like any of the tools that I would have needed. I don't know if this is cross-functional. Maybe it is, and I missed it. I don't know if this was in an agile workflow or whatever. It's just so broad. That's the problem, and this is why AI isn't good. This may not be AI. That's the problem with AI, is this is what AI reads. It just doesn't tell me enough. Optimize stakeholder review cycle. I'm not asking for that. Like, I'm asking for very specifics. Did you meet with them? Did you talk with them? Did you explain complex topics to them? Why did meeting with them turn around times, right? It's just too broad. So, and I don't think it's a horrible resume. I don't want people to say, oh, this is garbage, never. But, like, it just doesn't tell me quite enough. So that's all I can do for this one. Let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a GRC analyst. They also go by a couple of different names like compliance or risk or audit, but it's essentially all of those mashed into one is a GRC analyst because they have mostly the same qualifications. So what we're looking for, and this is a role I have personally never done in my career, is IT GRC cybersecurity, which I spelled incorrectly. Any type of IT and degree. We are also looking for any of these letters, could be a little bit more as well, basically state and federal laws, so GDPR, PIVDA, COPA, or CCPA, and there's probably many others that I could not list as well. I need to know that you can explain complex topics to non-technical stakeholders and partners, that you have used Sarbanes-Oxley, or SOX, or PCI DSS. That was in a lot of them. They actually really want that. That you have worked cross-functional, that you have done internal audits, that you have done like NIST or CSF or ISO or IEC. No, I don't know what any of those are except for ISO, and the number of ISO doesn't matter because, again, different places are going to want different ISO numbers. That's the only one of these I actually know what they mean. And assess complex risks and developed effective mitigation strategies. So basically, to sum it all up, have you kept federal compliance? Can you convince people that don't know what they're doing to do it to not get them sued? And can you prevent these problems in the future from occurring? Those are the gist of it. So, 20 seconds, finding it out. Let's see. All right. Sissy, this might be one of the ones that I need. I don't know. There are too many of these here, but it's okay. Audited, good. Federal identified reporting and audit exceptions. This is actually pretty solid. Applied NIST, cybersecurity. Okay, so that's one NIST. Also, they'd have more than 20 seconds. This industry is pretty hot, so I would probably have like 40 seconds. So let's add another 20. Mentored, it's okay if we're going for leadership. ISO is good. SOC, I don't really care about. This is good-ish. But then there's nothing as much. Oh, socks. There we go. Okay. So my assumption in the beginning was this person has a 1 in 50 ratio. Actually, a little bit better, a 1 in 40. And based on this industry, that's actually kind of bad. They should have more. This is a hot industry. Their ratio should be close to like 1 in 20. So I don't think this is a great resume, but it has just enough that if a recruiter goes all the way down here or Control Fs, they will find what they need. So here's what we need to do. First off, this can be probably deleted. I also don't know what your MBA is from here. If this was also finance, you can delete it. Secondly, these are good. Don't tell me when you graduated. If you just graduated, tell me when you just graduated. Otherwise, just say status graduated. And then you may be able to wrap a couple of these together. So you could put like CISI, public trust, CompTI, all of those in one line just to save some space. And then we go down to the bullet points. And the problem is there's just not quite enough of what I'm looking for. And it's spread out amongst this, right? Like if you noticed, I didn't even get down to here. Which I don't actually need to half the time. So, audited 20 federal contractors and vendors. Great. Identifying and reporting 200 million in audit exceptions across internal controls, contract compliance. That one's okay. But maybe you could say to keep us compliant with whatever these things are, right? Like the COPA or CCPA or whatever. And then applied NIST security framework, and this is solid. But you don't need to say all of this. You can say applied NIST security framework, and then in parentheses you could also put like 8053 controls. And then I need more, right? To prevent future audits or prevent future issues. This is a good one to show how you prevented stuff. Then this, unless you're applying for a leadership role, I don't think this is needed. Again, if you're applying for a leadership role, this is fantastic, but it's not. And then here, this is okay, but again, I need more. So the big problem is I found like 3-4 things I'm looking for in the first half. You need to cram in more of these things that I'm looking for in the first half. Then down to here, again, this is okay to reduce audit hours, but I would actually prefer this to be higher up. I think this should be the top part because it involves SOX. And what you want to say is not just SOX. You want to say Sarbanes-Oxley and then in parentheses put SOX. You don't even need to say 404 requirements because some of them wrote Sarbanes-Oxley, some of them wrote SOX, and it's possible they don't know what the other means. And then we need something about stakeholders. Is there anything here about stakeholders, partners? No, we need to know that you can explain it to them, right? Remember, part of your job, and I'm sure you know this, is to explain to the big boss that, hey, this will get us sued. Don't do that. And it's not out of malicious intent. It's that they really just don't know. They hire you to know these things. So you just need a bit more in the first section. Probably shrink this down if you can. Remove the graduation dates. Just put status graduated. And something about stakeholders in your ratio should be much higher. But you're also in chat, so I'm going to help you more after this. So for everybody else, there's the next resume. This is a resume of a data analyst for the 8th time. This person has changed their resume again, even though I really don't think they needed to. So we're going to see if the changed version is even slightly better. This is the version, the previous version at least got like a 1 in 20, 1 in 15 for an international student. So what we're looking for is degree, industry, SQL, data visualization, so Tableau, Power BI, Looker, stakeholders, explaining technical concepts to non-technical people. Let's see, how you solved a problem with data, not what the data is. The industry, which in this case is going to be HL7 and H5s and HIPAA, I think. MS Excel, macros, Python, R, multiple projects, and deadlines. So, can I find that in 20 seconds? Let's find out. I better. Otherwise, you changed it, made it worse. All right. Go. SQL. Good. This is the industry. 1. Good. Manager expert. This shouldn't be capitalized, but it's fine. Cross-functional. Good. Jira Confluence is good. Requirements workshops. MS Office and PowerPoint to non-technical stakeholders. Yep, that one's actually really good. Power BI with Snowflake. 2 bottlenecks. That's actually not bad. Yeah, I think you had everything I needed. I don't know if there's anything here I really missed. Was there stakeholders? I think I saw. So yeah, stakeholders. I don't know if stakeholders need to be capitalized, but yeah. Honestly, my only real thing is this. This might want to be up ahead, but no, this is still good. Yeah. Stakeholders, problems. I really don't. It's solid. Let's see. I know you said something in chat. Normal view. If you don't want to make it healthcare, you just have to remove basically this part and probably the claims denials. And I would sort of mix around these sentences. So I would say delivered workflows and reports to 50 plus. In fact, I don't know if we really need to say 50 plus. We can just say to non-technical stakeholders using MS Office and PowerPoint, allowing them to analyze processing delays and enable faster reimbursement for customers. So I would just rewrite how we worked this and probably maybe rewrite this. You don't need to say 100%. You can just say meeting deadlines. Like, I don't need the number, right? Like, the second you put a percentage on your resume is the second I start thinking about how that could be bad or good. And in this case, 100% is fine, but just say meeting deadlines, right? That saves you a little bit of space. The less numbers, the better. Python is fine. ML model, maybe. Some of them do want AI, some of them don't. If you were not going for healthcare, I don't think this sentence would help. And everything else is about normal. So that's about all I can do for this one. Again, it's still good. I want to be clear. I'm being very nitpicky. It's still a good resume. It's still getting you a bunch of interviews as an international student. But there's really small changes I would really make. So let's go to the next resume. This is a front-end developer, and this is their second time submitting. So let's see how they do this time. It is a 75-to-1 ratio, if that is accurate. They are also in the chat, so I will help them out afterwards. And yeah, let's see if I can find what I need. So it's JavaScript, React, AngularJS, HTML, CSS, maybe PHP, SQL, Scrum, Agile, RESTful APIs, SEO, Git, Docker, Jira, Node.js, Vue, Next, and a bonus for any extra language, Cloud, UI, UX, SAS, TypeScript, and WordPress. I am always upset that SASS is different than SAAS, and they're all used in the same industries. So, 20 seconds. Let's see. Front-end in a SAS environment, using JavaScript, HTML, CSS, UI, UX is solid. Led backend development with MongoDB, Node.js, Express, RESTful APIs, that's okay. For AWS is good. Jira, Git, it's okay. Solid. C, C++ for an extra language, and SAAS. Okay, so is this a pass? Yeah, I think this would be a pass. Couple of things I have wrong with this is there's a little too much extraneous information. So I do like that you have SAS, but again, remember, I'm looking for SAAS, which again is different than the one you have down here, which is SASS. So there's SAS, which you have, and SAS, which you did not actually have. So I don't know if I need this. You can actually just say develop scalable, user-friendly front-end features, and you can just delete this part. Just say using React, JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, collaborating with designers to optimize response time, line UI, technical, and which boosted user engagement. Don't say boosting, just say which boosted. Everything should be past tense. I don't know why, it just makes it better. In addition, if you were truly, this was your title, put it, but if they're looking for a pure front-end dev, they may not want a full-stack dev. So they may assume that you would get bored and leave, which would lower your chances, even if that's not correct. That's their assumption. Or it could be they think you're not specialized enough in the front end and you're more of a back end. So if you can put this as like a... In fact, you could just say software engineer. This is a weird part. Like, you don't actually need to state full stack. You could just say software engineer, because as long as the stack is the same, they'll go for it, especially if it says front end using JavaScript, React, blah, 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 blah. Then leading back in development with Mongo. Again, it's not that it's a problem to use Mongo. It's just that the reason these are extra credit is they should be after we find everything else we need, right? Like, it's cool if they're looking for MongoDB, but if they're not, this is irrelevant. That's why it should be closer down here. AWS is probably... That's honestly in between a bonus and a needed, but I don't know if I really need the EC2. Back-end devs may need the EC2, but front-end they may not. Let's see. Is this Agile or... Let's see. Agile, good. We did have... And did we have Jira? I found, which was good. SEO, I didn't find. Git was good down there. Where was PHP? Probably not, and that's okay. You only need to meet 75%. We did find Node, I think. Yeah. And I don't know if I need Express or the RESTful APIs they do. So that's kind of the problem is don't need this, don't need this, don't need this. And then here, this is okay, but this is too long. So translated Figma designs and production-ready front-end code while applying Agile. Just say in an Agile environment, an Agile/Scrum environment, used Jira, Git, and GitHub to continuously deploy Figma designs, right? Remember, I try not to get too picky with the order of these qualifications, but it can make a small difference. So this stuff should be up front. And then the rest of this is solid. I just think I would like... Let's see. We have the React. We have the Scrum Agile. What else are we missing that I think is critical? Possibly Vue if you have it, or Next. Wait, no, we did have Next. No, there it is. Next down there. Yeah. So this part you can have Sass because it's up front using React Flow. They just may not get down to this. So, in fact, if anything... I don't know if this is... this was 2 years. This is actually pretty solid. So, yeah. Yeah, it's just a little wordy, and we need to make it better for front end specifically. And this is why it does matter, and I say you need to pick a stack, is making it perfect for front end makes it not good for full stack because you're removing a lot of the unnecessary parts to it. So, does this pass? Yes, I think it does. I think this does pass. I think this is good, but we could make it even better. So that's all I can do for this one. I'm going to help them after this because they are also in chat. Let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a machine learning engineer. So what we're looking for in a machine learning engineer is machine learning. And your degree. Those are really important for it. Models, LLM, NLP, generative AI, Python, R, C++, Cloud, SQL, TensorFlow, PyTorch, skibidi-learn, Pandas, NumPy, LangChain, RAG. You may need to write out the full version of RAG and then in parentheses put RAG, but usually they just ask for RAG and not the full name of it, which I can't remember off the top of my head right now. Customer-facing, stakeholders, clients, be the subject matter expert. And then they're also looking for CAD, FEA, Git, CI/CD, finite element analysis, and API. Those are bonuses. Oops, sorry. Those are bonuses because, again, that's very specific to a couple of niche industries. So if you do not have that, there are no points off. So let's see if you have it in 20 seconds. And away we go. Machine learning, Python, good. PyTorch, skibidi-learn with Azure, good. Build scalable pipelines for model using NumPy and SQL, good in Azure. Fine-tuned in LLM, also good with Hugging Face, could be one in LangChain. MLOps, Git, CI/CD, Docker. Yeah, that's pretty solid. Am I missing anything? I think I'm missing... Nope, SQL's there. So, this is good. I want people to know that this is good. The formatting might be slightly off. Is the formatting slightly off? It's not a huge deal if yours is not in the center like that. That's not a big deal. But I don't know if this is Arial 10.5, but whatever, it's okay. So this is where we run into a bit of a problem with highly technical people. To be a machine... Plane, why are you so loud? I don't know why. There's always so many loud planes under where I live. So machine learning engineers are highly technical. They have to be. The problem is you can't just shove all of these together because it can get confusing. So here is what I would suggest we do to make it easier to read. So this is good on large data sets. This is almost perfect. The only thing I would change is instead of raising sales forecast accuracy by 10%, because again, why 10%? Why not 90%? Why are you not good enough to do it by 90%? The answer is 10% might be fantastic, but I don't know that. Is just say rising, which resulted in raising our sales forecast accuracy. So again, don't put the percentages, just say that you did it, right? You just say that it raised it. Could it be 1%? Could it be 100%? It doesn't matter. All that matters is that you raised it. The second you put a percentage in it, I'm like, well, why wasn't it 12%? Why wasn't it 15%? Then built scalable data pipelines for model training and feature generation using Pandas, NumPy, PyTorch, and Azure. So here's where I would change this around. It's not a bad sentence, I want to be clear. But remember, what they're looking for is going to be probably this. So I would say used Pandas, NumPy, and SQL And you don't need to say Azure Data Factory because you already said Azure up here. Or alternatively, you could take away Azure here and keep it down here and remove the Data Factory, but that's fine. So I would say used this stuff to build scalable data pipelines for model training and feature generation. I don't know why those planes are so loud today. Which, again, I don't really need expanding data volume by 3 times 3. That's kind of irrelevant. This is the stuff I actually need. This is irrelevant. Fine-tuned an LLM, generative AI, great with Hugging Face. I don't know if I need to say transformers, just say with Hugging Face. And deployed LangChain agents to automate NLP workflows, cutting manual processing time by 40%. Again, I don't really care about the processing time. I just care about this. This is the stuff I care about. You could just say which cut manual processing time down, but I don't care about the percentage. There are sometimes you are forced to use a percentage, but unless you are forced to, I would not recommend using one. Architected MLOps with Git, CSE, Docker, cutting deployment time 2 weeks to 2 days. That's actually understandable to a layman, so I actually kind of like that. This, though, I think should be above this. So these are mostly stuff you've already gotten up here, but you haven't said specifically. So I think these two need to trade places. And then, oh, yeah, this one should be higher. This actually should be your third one. Or this should be your second one. This is huge. Like, a huge goal of this is communicating these topics. So this should probably be your second bullet point. This and these two should switch places. So this will be your final bullet point. And then either this is your third or next bullet point. So basically, this should stay. This should probably switch with this. And then this should be your third one, and this should be your last one. And then you say it all perfectly here. I don't think there's anything else I need. Yeah, that's really good. So, again, pretty solid. Do very much like it. That's all I can do for this resume, and that's all I can do for this video. So thank you all for watching. If you ever need more help, you can join my Twitch live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST on twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. That is where I do this stuff live. That is where I help people out. And that is where this person who is also in chat I can help out after, although I don't think they really need much help. It's a pretty solid resume. And thank you for watching and subscribing. It really helps me out, and sharing this video and commenting. I appreciate it. Until next time, I'm here to help you get ahead of your job search.